The president's revamp flew under the radar a bit when it was first announced, overshadowed by his plan to forgive up to $10,000 of student loan debt outright, or $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. But the truth is that the president's new income-driven repayment plan, which he has dubbed the Saving on a Valuable Education Plan, or the SAVE plan, is just as problematic, if not more, as the president's scheme to forgive student debt outright. Because the new SAVE plan will create a system in which the majority of future federal borrowers will never fully repay their student loans. The nonpartisan Penn-Wharton budget model estimates that just 24.6% of future borrowers will repay their loans in full. In other words, less than a quarter of borrowers. The Department of Education estimates that borrowers with only undergraduate debt enrolled in the SAVE program can, on average, expect to pay back just $6,121 for each $10,000 they borrow. That amounts to the federal government taking on average, almost 40% of the cost of these undergraduate student loans. So, Mr. President, let's call this what it is. It's loan forgiveness by another name. You don't have to take my word for it. One scholar from the left-leaning Urban Institute had this to say on NPR the other day, and I quote, "I think it's going to be less obvious that it's a big loan forgiveness program to both borrowers and onlookers as well. But yeah, it's a big loan forgiveness program. So no longer a safety net like it has been in the past for undergraduates. This looks more like a broad-based subsidy for undergraduate degrees through loan forgiveness," end quote. That from a scholar at the left-leaning Urban Institute. Let me repeat that. A broad-based subsidy for undergraduate degrees through loan forgiveness. Or in other words, in the words of one scholar from the American Enterprise Institute, quote, "a functional entitlement program," end quote, "whose costs," he adds, and I quote again, "will prove difficult to control." Mr. President, I don't need to tell anyone that the problems here are myriad. Let's think about it. For starters, someone is going to have to bear the cost of all these unrepaid student loans. And that someone is the American taxpayers, including taxpayers who worked hard to pay off the full balance on their own student loans without a handout from the federal government, and taxpayers who worked their way through school to avoid a heavy loan burden.
Dear friends, this is important news. Republican lawmakers from both the House of Representatives and Senate are now moving to pass new legislation that will affect low-income Americans. Many households can now take action and claim new rebate payments. These rebates can be worth hundreds of dollars. My dear friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video. Also, do stay tuned, because in a video later today, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. My dearest friends, if you would like to enter these weekly giveaways, please click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, dearest friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. A group of Senate and House Republicans introduced companion bills that would force the federal government to factor potential adverse effects into energy policy decisions. The Energy Poverty Prevention and Accountability Act, which was introduced by Senator Dan Sullivan and Representative Harriet Hageman, is intended to prevent energy poverty and ensure that at-risk communities have access to affordable energy. Under this legislation, federal agencies would be required to assess impacts that energy-related policies have on a wide variety of Americans. Senator Dan Sullivan told Fox News, "The people most negatively impacted by the Biden administration's war on American energy have been those in our rural and lower-income communities. The legislation firstly requires the U.S. Comptroller General and Office of Management and Budget to issue a joint report to Congress at risk communities who are experiencing energy poverty and then offer recommendations for reducing such poverty. At-risk communities include low-income, rural, elderly, and Native communities. The bill would also mandate the Congressional Budget Office, as part of its review process, to assess how any given legislation impacts an at-risk community's access to affordable energy. It would further direct the DOI to study on how any proposed executive action may alleviate energy poverty in at-risk communities. And additionally, the bill requires all agencies issuing an energy-related rulemaking to certify that the action will not create energy poverty in at-risk communities. The Inflation Reduction Act, which was signed into law by President Biden 1 year ago, created energy-efficient rebate programs that could pay some or even all of the cost of buying Energy Star-rated appliances, adding insulation, or otherwise making your home more efficient. One program, which is called the Home Electrification and Appliance Rebates, offers up to $14,000. The other program is called the Home Efficiency Rebates, which offers up to $8,000. Low-income households are defined as those earning 80% or less of the area's median income. Middle-income families earn 80% to 150% of the median. Under the second program, rebates for improvements like installing energy-efficient doors and windows, smart thermostats, and air conditioners are tiered based on a household's energy savings. Middle and high-income households can receive up to $4,000 or $2,000 respectively, with a cap of 50% of the cost. By stacking rebates with other incentives, low earners could receive more than $22,000 from the federal government. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts about replacing your appliances to more energy-efficient appliances? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Also, friends, more drivers are going without auto insurance as inflation and higher premiums pressure their budgets. The number of American households that have at least one uninsured vehicle increased to 5.7% in the first half of 2023. The increase comes after auto insurance premiums grew at an unprecedented rate in 2022 and 5.9% in the first 6 months of this year. One top economist at Nationwide Insurance told reporters, "Consumers are stretched thin after nearly drawing down all their $2.1 trillion of crisis-related savings amid still high inflation and slow income gains." The cost of auto insurance jumped more than 19% year over year in August and rose 2.4% from July. That far outpaced the overall inflation rate for the month. Premiums have gone up to cover rising claim costs, which are associated with repairing and replacing damaged vehicles, medical care, and other expenses. And as millions of Americans brace for the start of student loan repayments next month, more may consider foregoing car insurance to make ends meet. More than a quarter of Americans with student loan debt say they are not sure how they will be able to repay their loans in October. And while another quarter say they have enough money in their budgets to cover the payments, 23% of those said they will need to reduce other spending to make it work, according to Yahoo News. Drivers who are struggling with higher premiums should contact their insurer to negotiate a lower premium and ask about discounts, especially if they have a clean driving record. Well, my beautiful and my most amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dearest friends, thank you so very much for joining me here and for being part of this community. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway in a video later today. My dear friends, please make sure that you enter the giveaways by clicking and liking several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed day.